So good morning everyone. Today I'm Maynard Baldos nga pala, and today we're going to discuss about the performance measurement in decentralized organization. So first, what is a decentralized organization? Decentralization in organizations. In a decentralization organization, decision-making authority is spread through the organization rather than being confined to few executives. In a strongly centralized organization, decision-making authority is reluctantly delegated to lower-level managers who have little freedom to make decisions. So, sinabi nating decentralized organization, so hindi nakafocus sa or isang group or sa center yung this decision. So naka-spread out yung decision. In a strongly decentralized organization, even the lowest level managers are empowered to make as many decisions as possible. Most organizations fall from somewhere between these two extremes. Next is the advantages of decentralization. First, the top level management free to concentrate on strategy. So by delegating day-to-day problem solving to lower level managers, top managers can concentrate on bigger issues such as overall strategy. So since ibigay naman na, or yung lower level managers sila na yung nagha-handle ng day-to-day problems, yung top level managers can concentrate na in bigger issues. Next is the lower level managers gain experience in decision making. So yun nga, dahil nagsosolve na sila ng problem, or they have a freedom to solve the problem, so they can their decision making will improve. Next, number 3, decision making authority leads to job satisfaction. Empowering lower level managers can increase their motivation and job satisfaction. So yun nga, gaya ng nabanggit sa pangalawa, because they have experience na, they will be motivated and they will be more satisfied in their job. Next, number 4, lower level decisions are often based on better information. Empowering lower level managers to make decisions puts the decision making authority in the hands of those who tend to have the most detailed and up-to-date information about day-to-day operations. Next, number 5, lower level managers can respond quickly to customers. Kasi nga since sila yung mga nasa baba, and they know yung transaction they know their transactions, they know the transactions well. Alam nila kung paano, or yung flow na nangyayari. So kung merong advantages, meron ding disadvantages. The first disadvantage of decentralization is maybe lack of coordination among autonomous managers. So if lower level managers make their own decisions independently of each other, coordination may be lacking. Number 2, Lower level managers may make decisions without seeing the bigger picture. Since they are lower level managers, um, hindi nila makikita kung ano talaga yung problem, or uh, they don't know what really it is. Next, lower level managers objectives may not be those of the organization. Lower level managers may have objectives that clash with the objectives of the entire organization. For example, a manager may be more interested in increasing the size of his or her department, leading to more power and prestige, than in increasing the department's effectiveness. Last disadvantage, may be difficult to spread innovative ideas in the organization. Spreading innovative ideas may be difficult in a decentralized organization. So someone in one part of the organization may have a terrific idea that would benefit other parts of the organization. But without strong central organization, a central direction, the idea may not be shared with and adopted by other parts of the organization. So dito in-emphasize yung kahalagahan ng centralized, or yung kahalagahan ng sa iisang part nagmumula yung decision para ganon synchronize yung pag-flow, or may sinusundan silang pattern at hindi magulo. So next part is the responsibility accounting. The centralized organization need responsibility accounting systems that link lower level managers' decision-making authority with accountability for the outcomes of those decisions. The term responsibility center is used for any part of an organization whose manager has control over and is accountable for costs, profit, or investments. The three primary type of responsibility centers are cost centers, profit centers, and investment centers. First, cost center. A segment whose manager has control over costs but not over revenues or investment funds. Gaya nung nakikita nyo sa picture, they are the finance chief, financial officer, the legal general counsel, the personnel vice president. So managers of cost centers are expected to minimize costs while providing the level of products and services needed by other parts of organization. So they are comparing the actual cost to how much cost should have been for the actual level of output during the period. Standard cost variances and flexible budget variances, such as those discussed in earlier chapters, are often used to evaluate cost center performance. Next is the profit center, a segment whose manager has control over both costs and revenues but not control over investment funds. They are the salty snack product manager, beverages product manager, and collection confection product manager. So profit center managers are often evaluated by comparing actual profit of targeted or budgeted profit. Next, the investment center. Investment center, a segment whose manager has control over costs, revenues, and investment assets. So parang so kaya Kita nyo, they are the corporate headquarters president and CEO and the operations vice president. So for example, the vice president of manufacturing would have a great deal of discretion over investments in manufacturing, such as investing in equipment to produce more fuel efficient engines. Once the top-level managers and board of directors approve the vice president's investment proposal, he is held responsible for making them pay off. As discussed in the next section, investment center managers are often evaluated using return on investment or ROI or residual income measures. It will be discussed by the next reporter.
Good day everyone, I'm Catherine Joy Baisa and I'm here to present Evaluating Investment Center. Investment centers are decentralized divisions or subunits for which the manager has maximum discretion in determining not only short-term operating decisions on product mix, pricing, and production methods but also level and type of investment. An investment center can extend the profit center concept in that the measured profit is related to the center investment. It may be described as a special form of profit center since a profitability measure is being developed for the center. Some of the important investment center performance evaluation measures are return on investment or the ROI. The most common measure of investment center performance evaluation is the return on investment. It is a better test of profitability.
I am Christine A. Baromeo from Group 1. Return on investment is defined using the formula net operating income divided by average operating assets. Investment centers' performance is often evaluated by using this measure. Every operating assets include cash, accounts receivable, inventory, plant and equipment, and other productive assets. Whereas net operating income, we called it earning before interest in taxes. Most companies, they use the net book value, which is acquisition cost minus accumulated depreciation. So, with this approach, the ROI increases over time because we are dividing net operating income by average operating assets. Understanding ROI with different formulas. ROI is equal to margin multiplied by turnover. Margin is equals to net operating income divided by sales, while turnover is equals to sales divided by average operating assets. Increasing ROI, an example. What is Regal Company's ROI? So, ROI is equal to margin multiplied by turnover. ROI is equals to 30,000 divided by 500,000 multiplied by 500,000 divided by 200,000 is equals to 15%. Investing in operating assets to increase sales. 50,000 is the new net operating income. Previously, we have 30,000. Our assets have now increased from 200,000 to 230,000. Our sales has increased by adding 35,000, which is now 535,000. So if we calculate now the ROI, the margin is 9.35, which is 50,000 divided by 535,000. The income divided by sales. And the turnover is 2.33. Sales divided by average operating assets, which is 535,000 divided by 230,000. So the ROI increased from 15% to 21.8%.
And now let's go to the part 5, which is residual income, and I am Nazarene Alombro, in which I would discuss what is residual income all about. So first, let's define what is residual income. So residual income, it is the income that one continues to receive after the completion of the income-producing work, and examples of residual income include royalties, rental or real estate income, interest and dividend income, and income from the ongoing sale of consumer goods such as music, digital art, or books, among others. So, in corporate finance, we could say that residual income can be used as a measure of corporate performance, whereby a company's management team evaluates the income generated after paying all relevant costs of capital. So, alternatively, in personal finance, residual income can be defined as either the income received after substantially all of the work has been completed, or as the income left over paying all personal debts and obligation. So next slide, we can see here on how we calculate residual income. So first, residual income is equals to net operating income less operating or the average operating assets multiplied by minimum required rate of return. So this computation differs from return on investment because return on investment measures net operating income and earned relative to the investment in average operating assets. So residual income measures net operating income earned less the minimum required return on average operating assets.
Under ROI, the basic objective is to maximize the rate of return percentage. Thus, managers of highly profitable divisions are reluctant to invest in projects with lower return on investment than the current rate because their average ROI would not reduce. On the other hand, under residual income, the manager would be inclined to invest in the projects earn more than the desired rate of return.
So let's go to example of residual income. So we have an illustration here. So the retail division of Zapier Incorporation has an average operating assets of $100,000 and is required to earn return of 20% on these assets. So in the current period, the division earns $30,000. So let's calculate its residual income. So we could see here the average operating asset is $100,000 and the required rate of return is 20%. So we have a minimum required return na $20,000. So it says in the illustration that in the current period, the division earns $30,000. So the actual income is $30,000. And then we will deduct the $20,000 minimum required return so that we could get a $10,000 as unresidual income.
So my name is Joanna V. Alifo and I will discuss the continuation of the topic residual income. So residual income encourages the managers to make profitable investments rejected by the managers using the ROI or the return on investments. Next is the divisional comparisons and residual income. This residual income has a one major disadvantage, that is, it cannot be used to compare the performance of divisions of different sizes. So why do we need to calculate the residual income? By calculating the residual income, it enables the companies to allocate resources among investments in a more efficient manner. When there is a positive ROI, it means that the company exceeded its minimum rate of return. The next one is the strengths and weaknesses of the approach residual income. The first one is that the terminal value does not make up a large portion of the total present value relative to other models. Second is that residual income models use a readily available accounting data. The third strength is that This residual income can be applied to companies that do not pay the dividends or do not have a positive free cash flows. The fourth one is the models can be used when the cash flows are not predictable. And the last one is that the models focus on economic profitability. So these are the weaknesses. The first one is that the accounting data that the model is based on is subject to manipulation. The next one is that the accounting data used may require adjustments. The third one is that the model requires that the clean surplus holds. When we say clean surplus earnings, this requires that all the components that affect the book value of equity be incorporated in earnings and flow in the income statement. If this does not hold, then adjustments are need to be made. The last one is that the residual income model assumes that the cost of debt capital is appropriately reflected by its interest expense.
Good day, everyone. My name is Ayaway Aragon. We are now going to talk about the Balance Scorecard. The Balance Scorecard is not just a scorecard, it is a methodology. It starts by identifying a small number of financial and non financial objectives related to strategic priorities. Then, it looks at measures, setting targets for the measures, and finally the initiatives. Hence, this approach forces organizations to think about how they can measure the objectives. Subsequently, they can identify the projects to drive those objectives. As a result, this approach helps avoid creating costly projects that have no impact on the strategy. From strategy to performance measures. The focus on financial and non financial objectives brings about the balance. The objectives, also called perspectives, are financial, customer, internal processes, and learning and growth. Eventually, it turned out that there is a causal relationship among the perspectives. For example, changes in the learning and growth will drive changes in business processes. In turn, these impacts will affect customers and shape the financial results. Furthermore, new perspectives don't necessarily guarantee a causal relationship. The result might be a useful scorecard, but it would not be a balanced scorecard. In brief, the four scorecard perspectives are: number one is financial, number two, customer, number three, internal business processes, and then the last one is learning and growth. So, the financial objectives and measures help answer the questions: how do we look to our shareholders? Are we making money? Are our shareholders happy? Just because taking a balanced look at an organization doesn't mean that we should ignore traditional financial measures. Quite the contrary, the financial perspective is a major focus of the balance scorecard. Financial objectives are usually the easiest to define and measure. However, creating only the financial objective does not provide a roadmap to achieve these objectives. By linking the financial perspective with other perspectives, we can clearly define projects and direct investments. The financial health of an organization is a lagging indicator. The financial indicators show the result of past initiatives and decisions. Yet, it's still incredibly important as the saying goes. Cash is king. Finance is what keeps companies alive. The financial perspective focuses solely on that. Next is customer. These are objectives and measures that are directly related to an organization's customers. In other words, this perspective focuses on customer satisfaction. Customer satisfaction is a great forward looking indicator of success. The way you treat your customers today directly impacts how much money you'll make tomorrow. The perspective focuses on the people who buy products and services. This perspective helps answer the questions: Are you winning new business? Are we viewed in your industry compared to your competitors? Are we keeping our existing customers happy? How do our customers see us? It is always important to take a step outside and view your company or organization from your customer's viewpoint. You need to understand what they want from you, not necessarily what you can do for them. Next is internal business processes. These are objectives and measures that determine how well a business is running. The internal business processes perspective looks at how smoothly your business is running. This perspective also helps understand whether the products or services conform to customers' expectations. In other words, this perspective helps define what you could or should be best at. Some of the biggest cost items can be reduced by streamlining internal processes. It's all about reducing waste, speeding things up, and doing more with less. Efficiency is important here. As consultants, this is also the best area to focus on to generate new and creative ideas. This perspective helps answer the questions: are there unneeded obstacles standing between new ideas and execution? How quickly can we adapt to changing business conditions? Are we providing what our customers actually want? And what should we be best at? Moreover, this perspective also encourages you to take a step back and get a little philosophical about your client. And then the last one is learning and growth. There are objectives and measures concerning how well the people perform, their skills, training, company culture, leadership, and knowledge base. This area also includes infrastructure and technology. This is the area where most investments happen. This perspective helps answer the questions: how can we improve and create value? Are people aware of the latest industry trends? Is it easy for employees to collaborate and share knowledge? Does everyone have access to training and continuing education opportunities? Are we a mess of tangled bureaucracy? What are we doing to stay ahead of the competition? Are we stuck running yesterday's technology? And can people use the latest devices and software? In summary, the four perspectives encompasses the vision and strategy of an organization. Cause and effect relationships should be well defined among the four perspectives. Additionally, the measures should include a mix of both outcome measures as well as performance drivers. These need to be linked to financial measures. Correspondingly, Balance Scorecard is a management tool rather than a measurement tool. Next is non-financial measures. In the balanced scorecard approach, continual improvement is encouraged. If an organization does not continually improve, it will eventually lose out to competitors that do. For several reasons, financial performance measures are not sufficient in themselves. They should be integrated with non financial measures in a well designed balanced scorecard. First, financial measures are lag indicators that report on the results of past actions. In contrast, non financial measures of key success drivers, such as customer satisfaction, are leading indicators of future financial performance. Second, top managers are ordinarily responsible for the financial performance measures, not lower level managers. Next reporter, please.
Good day everyone, I am Raisa Gay Bayangan. A company's strategy and the balanced scorecard. Companies have different strategies and target different customers with different kinds of product and services. Each of them must decide what their target customers are and what are the internal business processes that are crucial in attracting and retaining the customers. An example is in the automobile industry. BMW focuses in engineering and handling, Volvo in safety, Jaguar in luxury detailing, and Honda in reliability. Their performance measures should be based on the specific strategy for each company. For example, for Jaguar, who wants to offer luxury automobiles to wealthy individuals who price handcrafted individualized products, they might create large options for details such as leather seats, and exterior color combinations, and wooden dashboards to make the cars different from others. Possible strategy of Jaguar and the balanced scorecard. First, they should build their employees' skills in installing options. The employees should have the skills to install new options effectively. If this happens, they will offer more options and install it in less time. Kapag nangyari yon, maganda ang feedbacks ng customers during surveys, and this will lead to an increase in numbers of cars sold that will result to an increase of contribution margin per car. Lastly, kapag nangyari ito, syempre tataas din ang residual income ng company. The balanced scorecard lays out theory that helps the company to attain its desired outcomes. One advantage of the balanced scorecard is the continuous test of the strategy underlying management strategy. It is easily spotted if the strategy is not working because the desired outcome did not happen, and this will help them to formulate new strategy based on the existing strategy that failed. Next slide. Tying compensation to the balanced scorecard. Incentive compensation for employees such as bonuses must be tied to balanced scorecard performance measures, but this should be done after the organization managed to successfully tie with the scorecard for a year or more. Managers must be confident that the performance measures are reliable, sensible, understood by those who are being evaluated, and not easily manipulated. As Robert Kaplan and David Norton, originators of Balanced Scorecard, says, compensation is such a powerful layer that you have to be pretty confident that you have the right measures and have good data for the measures before making the link.